your past matters when it comes to everything, but to an extent. Because there are some people that are in the prisons, in the jails, they're there by innocent. You know what I'm saying? But the court deems them guilty. So therefore, if someone just holds a grudge against somebody who just went to jail, not, for something that they actually did, but just the fact that they were there, then that's what you call poor judgment, per se. You know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of people who go to jail, prison, and they didn't even do the crime that they were acquitted for or accounted for. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just because somebody went there, don't just go past their character. Still get to know people, because even Jesus in the Bible, or Yeshua, encountered and dealt with people who did crimes.
His best friends.
Yeah. And they were some of them were good counterparts to his testimony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So be careful when it comes to, if you're going to judge somebody, judge them due to the fact of, okay, will this person put me down in life? Will their energy affect mine on a lower standpoint? Not because of what they did. People can change. Yes, that is a thing. Everyone should know that. But, let's talk about relationships when it comes to the past. If you are a person who has, moral codes, you have high confidence, you uphold yourself to a high degree. As a man, alpha male, if you are dating or talking to someone who was into the stripping, into porn, into anything in what we call the modern day digital world that will forever be posted, she might be the coolest person you ever met.
No, but we're talking about actually going and recording porn and stuff, not just watching it. So don't turn it off your computer just because you.
Exactly. We're talking.
You're checking your history.
We're talking about if you met a porn star, and you didn't know she was a porn star until later on she told you.
That's a great one.
At that point, it's like, okay, you saw who she is now. Do you want to continue the relationship and ignore her past? Or do you want to still be friends, but just let her know, hey, I can't take you seriously dating wise due to your past of what you was? You know what I'm saying? Now, my person, I've dealt with this in real life. There's been a porn star that I've met in person, and I could not date her. You know what I'm saying? She's cool and everything, but as soon as she told me what she did and that was her past and things of that nature, I just let her know up front, look, like, we can still be friends, we can be cool, but as far as dating you, for what you did in your past, that is who you are today. So it's cool, I'm still your friend and everything. I'm not going to be cool with you no more just because that's what you did. I'm going to still be there for you in some way, shape, or form. But in terms of calling you my wife, I cannot do that. So that's just me right there. I'm going to let you take this when it comes to if your past matters.
This is another great one because, see, I grew up in the strip clubs.
Well, there we go. Perfect.
But
different perspective.
One thing I will say is that everybody has the ability to change. It's not the people that got caught that I'm worried about. It's the people that didn't get caught, because they are the ones that more than likely didn't change, and you can't see them coming. But as for like dating a porn star, no, I can't even date somebody who was on OnlyFans.
There we go. Yes.
And the reason why that is because I want the only people that should be that should not be wondering what I have is her exes. Her ex boyfriends or girlfriends, whatever the fuck they was into. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But those are the only ones. And even then, they have to understand that last time they was here, there wasn't a chandelier in here. You know what I'm saying? Last time they was in here, the doorknobs wasn't gold. So they ain't got the same JJ they got. just remember that. Just remember that. Anyways, but when it comes to your past, it's so many instances where it should play a factor. And one of those that I'm just gonna come out and say it. People who have HIV. I think that should be something that they should go back to where you disclose that. I don't know if they ever got rid of that, But you should be disclosing that, and not just HIV, but. And I'm not tying the two together, so don't debate me over here. I'm not saying just because you HIV, you trans. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you have HIV, you should be able to tell me. And if you was a trans, you better tell me. Let me make that decision. I'm going to say no, but let me make that decision. Don't pop that shit out on me. I'm 15 bars in, and I'm fucking 15 bars and 10 ecstasy pills in, and I done had a bottle of liquor and shit, and all of a sudden you like, hey, I used to be a man.
Nope. That's how breaking news comes in.
I'm just saying. And guess what? Now, I got to spend the rest of my life in jail because I was defending myself from a motherfucker.
That's right.
Literally.
Can't get that back. Gotta live with that forever.
I'm sorry.
Nope.
But those should be the ones that actually should be, like, you ain't got to tell the world, even if you want to. I mean, we can tell for most of the part. You know what I'm saying? But for those who can't tell, it should be something, some law out there that says you need to be able, you have to tell them if a person can prove that you did not communicate that to them, then is it assault?
I think it's assault, or in some cases attempted murder.
I'm gonna look that up.
Especially if you're knowingly and willingly have these diseases and you're spreading them.
Oh no, that's HIV. Yeah, HIV. I believe it is assault. Yeah, it is. It's. I don't believe it is in every state though. I think it's just in certain states.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly for transgenders.
Any STD or anything like that to that nature.
Honesty
is always the best.
Yeah, honesty. Just tell them motherfucker. Because you never know. He may have that bearskin condom at the house. You know, he don't give a fuck. He may, hey, you got herpes? Don't worry about it, baby. I got something to, I'm going to put on a whole garbage bag. I got you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let that motherfucker make the decision for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to bash the trans community. I, for one, don't care if you cut your little ding-ding off. I wasn't worried about it when you had it. Shit, so why am I worried about it now? But I don't want to be in the clubs. You know what I'm saying? I won't be in the club anymore, late night, coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning with something strange, you know what I'm saying? Because it may be too strange. You know
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, nowadays, it's 2021, motherfucker gotta be. But your past does make you. Another thing I want to talk about is with felons. This is where it gets really, really tricky. I understand you may not want to hire somebody that's just came out of prison right then and there. You don't want to hire him as a bank teller. He probably came out of prison off of armed robberies or robbing banks or some shit. You don't want to make him a bank teller. I get that. But I think it's ridiculous how there's so many inconsequential jobs, such as a call center job, where you're not even dealing with credit cards or nothing like that. And you can't even get a job because you have a ticket. An outstanding ticket in another city. And get this, it's a ticket for driving. It's a driving violation ticket, and you can't drive up there to get it because you know that driving violation ticket is keeping you from going get your license. So you can't go drive up there because there ain't no bus that's gonna take you up there because you know it's kind of out the way. So you never know. You was probably traveling. No, you don't know. But there's so many situations out here where a punk ass ticket will keep you from being able to move on with your life. I can't even get the job to pay the ticket.
Yep.
Exactly. It's that.
And then when they ask you, oh, well, how are you going to get the money if you can't work? That forces people to do crime, such as robbing, thieving. So, yeah. So, I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel about the certain jobs should not have to do a background check. They shouldn't. I just don't understand why. I had a restaurant do a background check on me. They still hired me, but I was still like, Now, with that, would you say, if there is a way that we could change that, would you say that certain job wages from this to this shouldn't worry about, or would you say that any job without a degree, a license?
Jobs. Okay, like I was saying with the bank teller. Mm-hmm. To be a bank teller, you don't have to go to school to be a bank teller. They can hire you as a bank teller, then you could go to school to be an accountant, then you can move up in their ranks. Don't hire somebody fresh out of prison, you know what I'm saying? Because for one, it's their private, they did their time, so you can't look up what exactly they did Well, maybe they can now, because I think I got my background. Nope, they can't look up exactly what you did. All they can do is they can look at it and see if it's active or not. If it's active, then of course they ain't got to hire you, you know what I'm saying? But after 7 years, I think 7 years is way too long, because some people come out and get their life together within a year. I think it should be where you go to court, and they was even talking about this in certain states where they expose your record, so only the government can see it. Private entities have way too much power, way too much power, way too much privilege. How the fuck is my consumer report any bearing on me getting this job? What I buy can keep me from getting this job. Oh, you went to Rent-A-Center one too many motherfucking times. How many times they came to your house?
Yeah.
What the fuck does that matter, nigga? I'm trying to keep my shit. I'm trying to keep them from coming to my house, nigga. Hire me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know, it's. I think it's classification. Construction jobs pay very good money, and they hire felons like that. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why they actually have the drug screenings and stuff like that. You don't want to be out there with some 50-pound bricks and you drop it on somebody's foot. You know what I'm saying? Because you smoked a little bit too much that morning. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know how to smoke when they get off of work because they stupid. Anyways, you know, so I can understand a lot when it comes to the drug policies. It's the background policies that really don't make any sense. There's jobs out there that like marketing jobs. I'm a prime example of that. I have a record from 20 years ago, and that's keeping me from certain marketing jobs. They looked at that and they sent me a per your consumer report. You mean my background? But see, that also goes into something I'll be talking about on Revolutionary Hour too. Why are they looking at your consumer report to hire you for a job? It's because you are a product. Go check out how it's Revolutionary Hour. I don't know exactly the name of the episode, but listen to all of them. You're going to learn something from them. But that's just how I feel about your when it comes to your past. Your past, it's certain instances where it should define you. I'm sorry, once a Chester, always a Chester. If you touch a child, you touch the child. That's going to stay with you. You're not washing that away.
Yep.
And you can never. All you can do is spend your life advocating for the castration of other pedophiles. That's the only thing that would get you at least sitting. You'll be looking in history books as, you know, somebody, a hero. You know what I'm saying? Then they'll go and dig up your fucking real past and like, this motherfucker touched on. Did he have his balls cut off?
Yep.
I don't think he did. But other than that, nah. Now, I will go on to say one thing. Black people, your past really matters. And I'm not talking about your past in this lifetime. Okay, one thing I do like about Scientology, besides Tom Cruise jumping on the couch talking about he I love Katie Holmes or whatever the fuck her name is. That was adorable. I loved it. Anyways, when it comes to your past, I believe that who your ancestors were make a really, really, really big impact on who you are today. And I'm not talking about like in the Kemetic Egyptology where, you know, the people who always say, oh, black people are from Egypt. I'm sorry, that's just the stupidest. I'm sorry, that's stupid. I'm not saying you're not from Egypt. I'm just saying I know I'm not from Egypt, so all black people can't be from Egypt. Then y'all say we got kidnapped on the west side of Africa. Well, which one is it? Because Egypt is in northeast Africa. But that's beside the point. Right now, we're going through a real big awakening. This is the Aquarius age. This is the age where the Most High God actually, and I know y'all probably got turned off from that because a lot of y'all that listen to my show are probably, I know y'all atheists. Don't worry. Anyways, just hear me out. But the Most High God made it to where this age right here is going to be the age of awakening. He told us in Deuteronomy and in Leviticus and in Numbers that there was going to be a time of darkness. You know what I'm saying? That time of darkness is over with. That's why you see so many, and the reason why the internet is out right now, because people are getting this information that they know. That's how they got Christopher Columbus Day taken out. Now it's Indigenous Day. Soon we're working on Thanksgiving, y'all. We working on that. Don't worry, we're gonna change that. We're gonna have people not eating turkeys no more. We're gonna have them eating baskets of fruit and shit. Nah, let me stop playing. I'm playing on that. I don't care. But it's coming into a time where our actual history right before this United States was actually created has to come into play, because who you were in the beginning is exactly who you are now. And that's not a shot at the trans. I don't care about y'all. Right now I'm talking about black people and just black people. You have been deemed black by your Dutch slave masters because they knew if you knew exactly who you was, you'll be able to exercise certain powers that have already been in existence. I ain't talking about like X-Men powers either. I mean,
shout out to Marvel Gang.
Right.
Or gang.
That's right.
But I'm talking about like actual like universal law powers. You know what I'm saying? Inheritance powers, things of that nature. And what me and C Greasy was talking earlier, he was asking me about the Moors. You know what I'm saying? And about I wanted to make sure I go into depth about that. Not too much, but enough so that you get an actual understanding. A lot of people, I don't know where they get this notion from. They think that the Moors are extinct. The only way I could think that you got that notion is because they were turned into black people. Moors were turned into black people, and not in that old mystical way of some who is it, Merlin or Dumbledore? For they turned black people. No, that's not what happened. What happened was black people were denationalized, meaning that they was taken away from their nations. And when they was taken away from their nation, they had look at roots. Yo, what's your name, boy? Kunta Kinte. Pa! It's Toby, boy. What's your name? Kunta Kinte. Pa! It's Toby, boy. What's your name? Toby, don't hit me no more, sir. Nigga, he learned English real quick, didn't he? Real quick. That's denationalization. They took your image away from you. They took your identity away from you. So now black people in the United States suffer from an identity crisis. This is why they all everything but one thing. We're all supposed to be black, but now we're not a monolith. I'm not shit. Hell, the government don't even consider me black. They consider me white, like I tell y'all all the time. The government considers me white because my family is from North Africa. But if we aren't a crayon, what would we have been? Well, history actually tells you that the Moors ruled everything up until for 700 years. They ruled it from 711 AD all the way up until 1492, February 1492 to be exact. February 1492, the Moors lost the war at Andalusia, which is France, and Tripoli. Once they lost the war at Tripoli, that was the last front. And once they did that, the Europeans gained power everywhere. And they went down into the African continent, especially the north and the northwest and the western part of the African continent, because that's where the Moors had their empire at, and started capturing tribes and tribes of people. Not only did they capture tribes of people, but they continued that war when they sent Cristobal Colombo over to what they now call Puerto Rico, I believe. He landed in Puerto Rico. Once he did that, he found the key, that what they call the North Gate. The North Gate led to Turtle Island. Now, the North Gate was pretty much a draft that came across the Atlantic Ocean, which was a lot smaller back then. They don't tell you this there. See, when they tell you about the Atlantic slave trade, they don't factor in geography, they don't factor in history, they don't factor in law. They just tell you, oh, this is what happened, this is all you need to know. That's not true. Because if you actually look into it, you'll find that the Moors brought the Europeans here because the Moors had already been traveling here for thousands of years. Simple fact that if you look it up, you actually find out that the Egyptians literally had cocaine 4,000-5,000 years ago, and it did not. Cocaine is not known to grow anywhere in Africa. Never has known to grow anywhere in Africa. Only South America. So where would they have gotten that cocaine from? Obviously, South America. There's so many paintings and so many sculptures and so many cultures. If you go down there and study the actual indigenous culture, not the Spanish culture that was forced on the aboriginals of that land, but the actual underlying culture, you will see it has so many different aspects that are identical to Western or Northwestern or Northern Africa. And hell, some even South Africa. South Africa is known to travel from South Africa to Argentina. This is documented. It's documented. The brother of the king of Mali, his Mansa Musa, his brother traveled over here and got lost in South America. He got lost in South America because he knew his way to South America, but he didn't know how to travel, so he never returned. So that's how Mansa Musa got thrown. Look it up. I guarantee you, it's true. We've been coming here thousands of years. So the Europeans were like, we want that land of milk and honey. Because there was nothing but milk and honey over here. Because it's a fact, we live with nature. We did not splurge nature. We lived with nature. So everything was untapped. Everything was untapped. So all that empire got usurped by the Europeans. And then in 1619, they started slavery. Well, they made it legal to own a slave in 1619. So once they did that, what they would do is they'll take you, because if you look at the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between United States and Morocco, you'll see that they had to take everybody who was called a Moor and turn them into something else in order so that they can become slaves. Because if they're not known as a Moor, they're not protected by the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, meaning that they can now be done with whatever. We can do whatever he want. 12 Years a Slave, y'all ever seen that movie? That actually happened a lot.
That term.
A lot. That is, so you got to imagine being denationalized, having your identity taken from you. Now you don't even know who you are. Now do that for hundreds of years, generation after generation after generation after generation. Now people think the Moors are the ones that sold black people into slavery. The whole time the black people are Moors. Like, how does that work? It doesn't. But we are stuck learning from the enemy. And I'm sorry, they're the enemy. I ain't talking about white people. I'm talking about the European governments. I'm talking about the European nations. The Christian crusades against the Muslims was them getting ready to start slavery. I'm not telling you to go to be a Muslim. That is not what I'm telling you to be. Your religion is what your religion. That's what you are. That's wherever you want to practice, that's what you practice. I'm talking about your nation. I'm talking about the bloodline that you came from. That is something totally different. Now, your bloodline originally was of mixed Islam and Hebrew. Hebrew. Hebrew is the actual name for the Hebrews. Hebrews is an English connotation of it. But Hebrew is what you practice. Look up the Igbo. Look up the Biafran. Biafra in Ethiopia. No, I mean in Nigeria, excuse me. All of those have the same religion that you would think Christians are. But guess what? They're more biblical. They're more Bible-based. They are strictly scriptural. A Moor is a nation of people who practice the same culture, but not the same religion. They all had different types of forms. That's why if you look up Islam now, you find Sunni and Shiite. Totally different from what they used to be, because it wasn't a religion back then. It was just simply a culture. It didn't become a religion until Muhammad came out and the Catholic Church popularized the Quran so that they can have an enemy to fight. That is what happened. They made Islam into a popular religion so that they can say they are against our God. When in all actuality, it's the same God. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The God of Moses. The God that sent Joshua down here. Same God. They practiced the same culture. But since it had to be politicized in order to make it look like, oh, we need to kill these people because they are infringing on our beliefs. Hell, we the ones that taught y'all how to read, write, bathe. We taught you how to cook your food. We taught you how to stop sleeping with that pig. Or not, I'm sorry, not your wife, but the real pig. We taught you how to get the cows out your house. We taught you how to make bath water. We taught you how to heat the bath water up so you wouldn't be in there freezing your nuts off. Now, I do want to go off before, because I don't want people to think that I'm just a racist. Let me explain. There's no such thing as race. Because there's only one race. The human race. We all came from the same melting pot. What happened? Here's a little bit of history and geography and geological lesson. When we traveled all over the world. Thousands of years we had. Hundreds of thousands of years we've been here. We had to find out where this big marble that we landed on, and I'll talk about that in my Revolutionary Hour, how we landed here. Just go check that out. But we got here, and it was this big marble, this big blue marble. We had to explore the whole thing. We had to understand it. We had to adapt to the climate. What happened was when we traveled up north into the land that they now call Europe, an ice age hit. Now, our group of people that got trapped up, they got to survive. In the ice age, there's no sun. So what happens? Your skin grew melanin to protect you from the sun, but there's no sun. You don't need that melanin in your skin anymore. That melanin goes off to do other things, like make your nose slim so that when you breathe in this cold air, it instantly warms it up so that when it hits your lungs don't collapse. So now you got a way to breathe in warm air, but you still kind of freezing, right? So your hair starts growing all over your body. That's why you look at most white people, they look like bears, especially the ones that come from the north. Their hair grew out on them to protect them from the cold. Not only did they grow out on their hair and on their arms and their legs, but they also had to grow their hair down their back because they had to protect the neurons that went up and down their neck from their brain to their body. They had to get smaller lips because now they're eating raw meats. This is the only way they can survive. There's no fruits, there's no vegetables, there's no vegetation. They had to hunt and kill. So when they did that, they had to eat the meat. Their big lips was getting in the way, so they had to learn how to do this thing. I know my listeners ain't they get that. Just imagine, you know what I'm saying, your teeth just coming out, protruding past your lips. And they say we look like monkeys. But their lips had to go back so that their teeth can reach the meat in those bones. This is why I know black families know this well. How many times you told your son, hey man, you ain't gonna eat the rest of that meat on that chicken? And they be like, well, ain't no more meat on this chicken, but give me that damn bone. And you clean that motherfucker. Well, white people had no choice. They had to do that. And their melanin helped them do that. After hundreds and hundreds of years, they had to. They had to adapt to the climate, because that's what humans do. That's what humans do. Humans adapt to their climate. Why do you think Europeans came out of the Ice Age with a vengeance? They came out with a vengeance. All the Caucasoids, all the Aryans, all the Visigoths, all the Vikings, all of them came out with a vengeance. And they came out with similar culture. Look at the Greek mythologies. Look at the Roman mythologies, and then compare them to the Phoenician, the Assyrian, the Babylonian, the Egyptian mythologies. Same thing. Because it all happened in real life, but everybody had to tell their own story in their own way. Who the Moors are is the ones who carried the knowledge throughout the centuries, throughout the eons, and made sure that we understood how to read the stars, because that's where we came from. Again, Revolutionary Hour, go check it out. But we had to understand, that's what, do you know what it means to cross the sea? You are mooring, or you have to moor across the waters. M-O-O-R. That's who we were. We was the ones that actually traveled the seas. We are the ones that discovered the lands. We were here before anyone else. We gained it. We had an empire for tens of thousands of years before anyone else. Yeah, 10,000 BC, they should have had all of them characters in their dark skin. Because there was no such thing as a white person at that time. Ice Age. That's what you could think for white people. And slavery is what you could thank for black people.
There you have it, folks. Two intelligent people meet together, creating great content as always. Regardless whether we agree or disagree, we're going to have amazing dialogue, put it forefront on the table, and explain to the people on what it is and what it ain't. So appreciate you guys for viewing. As you know, we will tune in next time to another informative podcast, entertainment video, and Greasy Gang.
Yes.
We out.
And we love to have C Greasy.
Many demons on me, I'm trying to keep them off me. The silence will kill them softly. The struggle will get exhausting. I've been waiting so patiently. I won't let a nigga take from me. I've been waiting so patiently. Never like it stay. Got so many demons on me, I'm trying to keep them off me. The silence will kill